Hello, today's camper van chat is coming from this magnificent Globe Traveller vehicle. I'm just outside the factory, and today is a wonderfully summer-like day. It's the 25th of April 2018. We've had a very nice spell of hot weather. It's beginning to get a little bit cooler now, so much so that today I've put on long trousers rather than short trousers. But 1 year ago today, I was in southern Germany at this wonderful place called Berchtesgaden. Fantastic location for a trip, and you can see some of the stuff I filmed there. I was there for 10 days, absolutely brilliant, but unusually for the end of April, I should say, it was snowing. And this is an unfortunate thing we seem to be getting here in Europe, bad weather which is extending longer periods of time. Indeed, I was just looking at the news this morning and it said it's likely to start snowing in the UK the end of April, and they have been having a sort of heat wave. That's a heat wave by British standards. It probably got around 20 degrees or something. Anyway, so what can you do about living in the van in winter? Well, the first thing I'm going to have to talk about is the idea of something called a double floor. That is where you've got the floor of the van and the internal floor of the van. The point of that is trapped air. It keeps it warmer for longer. Now, the difference between the two in cost is around 10 to 15%. And if you're buying a van from new, you might be thinking, well, what do I want to spend several thousand euros more on a new van just for having that? It's something you can't see, but believe me, you can feel. There is a major difference, and I think that's one of the most important features. Now, the next thing is when a van is actually built, so you've got the outer part, which is metal, then you've got a insulation layer which is made of a material which is normally XPS. It could be EPS, but XPS is probably better than EPS. There's various types of foam which are particularly good at keeping in heat or not. The best thing you can actually do is a vacuum. I've got no idea how you build a vacuum into a motorhome, but if somebody thinks of a way of actually doing it, that would be the best solution. You know, a thermos flask keeps your tea warm for ages. So, but anyway, think about that when you've got some ideas. Let me know. Obviously, you've got it isolated all the way around, and so the quality of the insulation materials makes a big difference. Indeed, as you may expect, the more expensive they are probably means the better they are. But okay, are you going to be living in the van in winter or not? Next thing I want to talk about is the Truman heating system. Now, last year I was out in Germany. It was minus 17 outside. I was in a Heimer Van S. It was absolutely fantastic inside. It was really nice and warm. Well done, Truman, for this really brilliant piece of kit, and which kept me nice and warm. And in this Globe Traveller vehicle as well, it's very similar to the way it's actually been done as far as the isolation is concerned, and for being able to live in something like this in winter. People who have hired these vehicles, they've gone off to skiing to France or Switzerland somewhere, so it could easily be minus 17 outside and they're warm enough inside. You get a couple of gas canisters and a canister, even if it's on full blast for non-stop, it'll last for at least 60 hours, full blast heating. If you're normal use of the thing, it'll last a week easily. So that is another little feature. Now, if you were going to manufacture your own van, though, one of the problems is putting a double floor in, and that is really very tricky, and that's the difference between doing it yourself and getting a proper company to do it for you. So they've got the experience and they know how to put these things together. One problem I do need to talk about, though, is the water, and it's this, that with the Truman system, when the temperature gets below 4 degrees inside the van, it will dump all your water. And it does this to stop the thing freezing, which is a pretty good idea, because if you're trying to fix broken pipes or something, or worse, If the boiler itself goes, well, boiler it's between 4 and 6,000 euros. That's not something you want to break. So it dumps the water for your own protection. Defense against that, just keep the van warm. When you go out, leave it on delicately. It doesn't have to be full blast. It's not like a house, which you've got a house, it'll stay warm because it's the bricks or the other material actually contain a certain amount of heat. Within a van, it doesn't really work in the same way. The point of keeping the heating on in the van when you're not there is to protect your water supply, and the Truman system gets you pretty warm pretty quickly. I've talked about Truman. Alde is also brilliant. There's other manufacturers on there. In fact, Alde is really superb. Other manufacturers as well doing things which are they're all very good. So it depends what your van actually comes with. Different features on different manufacturers. Right. So there's one or two ideas. One thing, what to point out is this grey water situation as well. Many vans will have the fresh water isolated, so that you can keep that stop from freezing. But the grey water, which may be under the vehicles, underslung in some way, that if it's not heated, you can actually heat your grey water tank. It may not be isolated. You're going to have to keep it either the valve open so your water drops immediately, and that's not something you want to do at all because it gives us campers a bad name. But if you're on a campsite, then you really need to think of this as well. And if you're making your own van, think about isolating the grey water tank too. Right, lots more films on my channel, so please have a look at them as well.